Yo, what is up, guys? It is your boy Keezy, and today we just got the official kind of social media reactions for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, before we get into this, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing helps out the most. We're trying to hit 1K subs by the end of the year, as well as I do full-length reactions to What If over on the Patreon, so go check those out, and we'll be doing a lot of film reactions in the future. But let's get into these freaking reactions. I've got a whole Reddit over here of kind of reactions on Reddit, and first, I believe I posted John Campia's reaction on my Twitter, so if you want to go see his reaction, you can go look at my Twitter. But we're gonna look at everything else. Drew Taylor says Shang-Chi is an absolute triumph, unexpectedly spiritual and emotionally complex, with some of the very best action in the MCU. At Simulu is your new favorite Avenger, and the movie's myriad, I don't know how to say that, influences everything from Jackie Chan to Hayao Miyazaki. Payoff big time, astounding. See, this is good to hear. Everything I've been hearing is that the action is quite possibly the best we've seen in the MCU, which is quite impressive. There's been some impressive action scenes in the MCU, nothing that really blows my mind, but you know, it makes me happy that you know, we're getting a true kung fu movie, and we're gonna see a lot of that fighting, the action, the kung fu. We're gonna see a lot of it, because I honestly, from the trailers, I didn't think we were gonna get much, but from what I'm hearing, they're saying the fights get better and better. There's a lot of good fight sequences, so I'm very amped up. Eric Goldman from Fandom says, I really dug hashtag Shang-Chi. There is a lot not in the trailers. Maybe avoid ads in the next couple of weeks. I fear we'll show more. And it has its own vibe and distinct elements that make it stand out and not feel like a standard origin story. And Simu Liu makes for an awesome hero. I'm glad to see Simu Liu get the praise, because he basically started all this, and we might not have really got this as soon as, you know, it's really coming out to theaters and coming to the fans. If it weren't for Simu Liu putting those tweets out and kind of starting this hype and this train for Shang-Chi. Wendy Lee Sanzi from The Movie Couple says Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is phenomenal. Get hyped. Even fight, or she probably means every fight scene / action sequence is better than the last. At Simu Liu fully embraces the Marvel superhero role. Amazing imagery, killer soundtrack. You'll want to see this on the big screen. Hashtag Shang-Chi. I've been listening to a couple of the soundtracks here and there. I actually start most of my Twitch streams with a certain song from the Shang-Chi soundtrack. And they say it's pretty epic. I can't wait. The Illuminati, which is a very credible source in the movie, superhero comic book movie / kind of film department, they said Shang-Chi is the perfect balance of fun, heart, and action. And when I say action, I mean jaw-dropping action. At Simu Liu is the perfect addition to the MCU. Good to hear, good to hear. Dorian Parks from Geeks of Color says, if you guys can't read these, I'm just reading them out. Looks like you guys can't see these, so just in case you want to see them, I'm gonna just move my camera. You know, this is scuffed. But yeah, Dorian Parks from Geeks of Color says Shang-Chi is an action-packed adventure that checks all the summer blockbuster boxes. Simu shines, bringing a long overdue comics character to the silver screen. The fighting is another level, and it has some hilarious moments throughout it. That's one thing I've been hearing as well, is the comedy is like really good. They're saying that the MCU comedy, the MCU style comedy is in here, but it's taken to another level. They're saying like it hits a lot and the comedic elements are a lot, and that's good to hear. I've been watching Kim's Convenience recently to see some of Simu Liu's work, and he's really funny and very I should say charismatic is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, he's very charismatic in that show, and he has these lines that he really says perfectly, and his timing on it is really good. So honestly, I'm not surprised, but I'm glad to hear that there's a lot of good humor, getting a lot of good humor in our comic book movies. Some people don't like that, but I honestly don't mind it. If I'm having a good laugh, you know, I'm not going to see that as something bad. Perry Nemroff from Collider, I actually watch her YouTube channel. She says, those hot hashtag Shang-Chi action set pieces are stunners. Choreography, cinematography, costume design, VFX, all on point and come together to make those fights MCU standouts. This is good to hear. I'm hearing a lot of praise on the action, which honestly a lot of people care about mostly. I'm more about the character development, but even I hear a lot of people saying this is the best MCU origin story, and hearing that, Iron Man's like a top tier movie to me. So if they're saying that, that's high praise. Steven Weintraub from Collider, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. He says, Shang-Chi is like no Marvel movie you've seen. Love that it opens the door to a new world that I can't wait to see more of. At Simulu literally kicks so much ass. He is perfectly cast. Got to see it in IMAX tonight, and this is how you'll want to see it. Looked and sound perfect. I don't know if I'm gonna watch this in IMAX. I really do want to. I wouldn't mind an IMAX screening, but if I don't, I'm gonna probably end up watching it in IMAX in some way. If not, then that'll be fun. That'll be fine. I don't have to see it in IMAX, but for this movie, I'm hearing a lot of praise. Might have to go watch this in IMAX. You guys tell me in the comments below if you're going to see this in IMAX. Scott Menzel says, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings earns the title of the best superhero film of 2021 so far. The action scenes are simply spectacular, especially the train and skyscraper scene. Best martial arts I've seen in a long time. Simu Liu and Aquafina are terrific. Hashtag Shang-Chi. Best superhero film of 2021 so far is a big thing to say. I really loved The Suicide Squad, and I thought that is not only a top 5 comic book film within the past 5 years, but I thought that was the best superhero film to date this year. That film is just very epic. It holds my heart. It's very comedic. It just holds a lot that I love about not only James Gunn's movies, but superheroes. But if people are saying this is the best of 2021 so far, my anticipation levels have risen. Humberto Gonzalez says, Shang-Chi was a blast. Actually, Marvel's first true family movie that has a lot of heart. Loads of fun. A great fight choreography. Likable characters galore. Brandon Davis from comicbook.com. Very good person to follow on Twitter, by the way, if you ever want to hear some movie news or even scoops of that sort. Shang-Chi is awesome. This movie hits all that Marvel does well. Pacing, humor, characters, and adds action like we've never seen from the MCU before. Lots of people are about to have a new favorite Marvel hero. Darker than expected. Loads of fun, integral to MCU Phase 4. Look at the eye emojis. The eye emojis get me, man. Darker than expected. I wonder where this movie will turn. I've seen a lot of people saying that the third act is quite outstanding and pretty great. So I'm curious to see where this movie heads, especially then it says darker than expected. I don't know. I'm kind of curious if it's kind of supernatural dark or if it's just within the family. I don't know. Kirsten Acuna, hopefully I'm not butchering that, from Disney Insider says, Shang-Chi is fantastic. It's full of incredible, beautifully choreographed fight scenes and full of badass women. Get ready to know Simu Liu's name if you don't already. Marvel has another hit on its hands. I hope the box office really does well. I hope a lot of people don't wait for that 45-day window. That's just such a long time for a movie this big and this influential to not only the Asian culture but cinema. Black Panther was one of those that really impacted the cinema culture, or I should say the culture in cinema, and I think this is going to do a lot for the Asian culture. So I hope if anyone's going to watch this movie, they go see it on the big screen to not only support Marvel's movies and Simu Liu, but support kind of the thought and passion that goes into a movie that represents such culture. Pop Culture says, Tony Leung, I'm pretty sure it's Lung. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. The King. What a vulnerable, layered, and regal performance. He is Wenwu, and they handled the Mandarin messiness perfectly. It's of course not a perfect film. As high as I am right now, and I'm on cloud nine. What? There was a lot of exposition and dialogue. They're really building out a world that hasn't existed in the MCU. At times, that can slow things down. This is another thing I've been hearing. Honestly, I don't mind it. If you watch anime, that you should be used to that by now. Honestly, so a lot of exposition and dialogue is relatively what Marvel seems to do in a lot of their world-building movies. They did that a lot in Black Panther, and I guess they're doing it quite a few times in Shang-Chi. But as long as this movie pretty much doesn't make me go to sleep, I'll enjoy it. I feel like when Suicide Squad was getting kind of, draggy, they picked it up right when you kind of felt that it was getting a bit too draggy. James Gunn managed to hook you back in. So I hope this movie can execute that. Tiffany June Lin says, okay, so at Shang-Chi movie was so good. Like, I'm going to watch this in a theater a few more times. I'm crying at how well they did it. Given that the original content is questionable sometimes, it's hitting the right spots for me. Yeah, that is a lot of questionable, or there is, I should say, a lot of questionable things in the original comics. So for them to be able to take that source material, kind of revamp it in a way, but not too much, is really interesting, especially obviously the execution must be well considering what these people are saying. Shauna Naomi from Entertainment Weekly says Shang-Chi is outstanding and huge, filling in the best origin story way. Oh wow. Funny, tender-hearted, next level action and fights, a delight. Recommended at the biggest scale you feel comfortable attending, and seeing it with an enthusiastic and thirsty crowd was, to be honest, invigorating. Yeah, I hope I'm in a theater that's packed. Honestly, I don't want no dead fans. When something cool happens, they're like, yeah, Josh Saleh, or actually, no, we're at Matt Ramos. Soups, I watch him a lot. Matt Ramos says, Shang-Chi was incredible. So many thoughts. That ending was wild. The best action we've ever seen in the MCU. My brain is scrambling right now. Welcome to the MCU at Simulu. He incredibly crushes this role and is already one of my favorite characters. Wow. I really can't wait. We're going to read these last two. I know there's more down here, but if you guys want to link to this Reddit with all the mega reactions, I'll link it in the description below. Yeah. Josh Shale, hopefully I'm saying that right, says, y'all, at Marvel Studios, at Shang-Chi was so freaking amazing. I think it might be in my top 5 for MCU films. Ooh, that's high praise. At Simulu, at Aquafina, and the cast crushed it. Beautiful locations, amazing sound design and costumes, and the fight scenes blew me away. Go see it. I will. I'll be there day one, by the way. Scott Mendelson from Forbes says, there are nits to be picked, but hashtag Shang-Chi is a terrifically entertaining piece of blockbuster filmmaking. It's much better than the trailers, lots of goodies unspoiled, and is unafraid to be weird and fantastical. It is exactly the shot in the arm that Marvel and Disney needed. Okay, guys, well, those were the reactions that I was reading just today. I'll link the full Reddit down in the description below for you to see more, but this has got some high praise, and now my excitement levels are on a whole different level, I should say. I was pretty excited for this film, but now that we've got reactions like this and the amount of praise it's getting, I'm curious to see what this does, not only for the future of the MCU, but how the characters handled, how people will kind of take this, and especially how influential this will be for the Asian culture, for the kids that are, Asian, looking up to a hero. This is a very big deal. And I think from what I'm hearing, it's going to be executed, pretty well. Tell me what you guys thought in the comments below about these reactions. If you are very as excited as I am, tell me why in the comments below. And also, you can put anything. If you want to contact me, Twitch and Twitter are my most active platforms I'm on, so be sure to go check those out. And don't forget to subscribe and go hit up the Patreon for full-length reactions to episodes of What If, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, and much more. It's been your boy Keezy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.